Alright guys, this is a small video about iso8 farming and the coordinated assaults. So first of all, we all know that these coordinated assault events are happening every now and then. It's quite regular right now. Next one is coming on 7th, so in 5 days. And these events are sort of giving us, the players, and the alliance pressure to be managing our resources right, to make sure that both you get the resources that you want and the alliance gets the milestone that they need for everyone to be doing well in these events. So first of all, how I manage my iso8 camp energy? Well, I'm not using my refreshes at all when the coordinated assault events are not happening. So in this downtime when we're waiting for the next coordinated assault, I'm making sure that I hoard as many of these refreshes as I possibly can to make sure that when the event starts, I can do my 50 refreshes every day, and at the end of the event, I will be in the top of the milestones, helping my alliance as much as I can. And that's about the iso8 energy. Well, what characters you should be farming, what classes you should be farming, and is there like any ideology behind that? I have a few ideas. First of all, some people are using favorite characters to farm their ISOs. I don't want to do that because I have a list of characters here, which is 2 rows of characters, 10 characters which I want to work on. All of these characters already are at ISO level 5 green at least. Most of them are on blue ISO already. So I don't want to use these characters as the farming sort of targets. I'm using these characters to level up, gear up, and make sure that they are topped up for whatever content I want them in. So I'm actually, and I don't want any more characters. The 2 rows are perfect for me. I don't want to have a third row of favorite characters. So instead of favoriting those characters, I'm actually just going to the bottom of my roster, and I have a set of characters here which I choose and farm the ISOs, and I do it in a very specific way. First of all, the first rule for me is to have every iso8 class, to have iso8s at least 81 for every class. So that way, whichever character pops up next, you can always get them to iso8 level 5 green right away. After that, I always check the characters which are the upcoming characters which we know of. For example, we have a blaster coming up in here. We have a support coming up in here. And we have a brawler coming up in here. So I know of these 3 classes. So I farm enough ISOs to top of 2 characters of those classes. So I make sure that, for example, we have Agent Venom coming. So he's a blaster, and so is actually Hand Archer. So I'm making sure that my Hand Archer has at least 162 of each ISO to make sure that I can get Agent Venom to iso8 level 5 green right away. And even after that, I have 81 ISOs ready if someone else happens to pop up next right away. Once I've done this or reached this goal, then I'm sort of evening up my ISOs in a sense that I try to make the most common and the most used classes to have the most ISOs. There are naturally some ISOs that accumulate more than others. For example, if we check the support characters, we can see that a lot of iso8s are here in here, like with a lot of like 1663 and so on. So I don't have to farm a lot of support. But the one character class that I think needs the most is, of course, controllers. So when I have at least one level of or one set of ISOs for each class, I have a second set of ISOs for the upcoming classes. I'm usually just chopping off my and farming my controller class because this is definitely the most common one and you will need a lot of these ISOs. So in here, my next goal is to have 200 of each of these. And here you can see that I'm pretty well on the way. 197 over there, 191 over there, 191 over there. So that's my next goal. I'm getting these to 200. Then I might go back to other classes and getting them to, let's say, 200. Then coming back here and getting more of these. But that's sort of the way I choose which classes to farm, which ISOs to farm. And yeah, that's how it works for me. Usually because of the coordinated assault, I have tons of ions. The green ions haven't been a problem for a long time, but this is actually a bit of a special time because we just had the Scourge event, and in the Scourge event I was pushing quite hard. I tried to go to the top 50, ended up in, I think, top 120 or something like that, and I did a lot of experimenting with the iso8 classes, and that sort of depleted my ions to a point where I have only like 629,000 at the moment, where I used to have like 3 million or something. And I've been sort of farming the ions as well for some time. But usually, if there's a threshold for me, which let's say is 1 million ions, I'm going to be checking this store every time, and I'm going to be setting some limits for me of which ions, iso8s I want to farm. And I would say, for example, I have enough ions to farm all of the controllers until I have 200. Or I'm going to be farming everything which I have under 100. Or I'm going to be farming anything which I have under 81. You can set up goals like that to manage your ions and to also get as much of the needed ISOs that you need. But at some point you're going to be hitting a threshold where you have like a good set of ISOs, and you don't actually need to farm any of these from here. You need to buy them, so you'll be farming the ions instead and saving those for upcoming events or whatever. But that's how I usually work. And right now I'm not buying anything from here because I'm pretty well set up with the ISOs. I have at least 2 sets of iso8s for each of the classes I want, so there's no need for me to get any of these. And at the moment I'm more concerned about my ions than I am of my ISOs, so that's why I'm not using my ions in this store. But usually when I have more ions than ISOs, I will be buying these, and it doesn't feel like I can easily buy like 2 or 3 different ISOs on each reset, and that hasn't like depleted my ions altogether, so I don't think that's a problem. About iso8 Blue, I think, at least at my level of play where we are doing Doom 3 at 60%, it seems that the iso8 Blue, the level 2, is until up to level 3 is such a good economy. We have a lot of those orbs, we have a lot of ISOs, we have a lot of ions, so I'm never buying anything of those. But of course, if you're in a situation where you need to buy one to get a character class to level, let's say whatever, level 3, of course you can buy some, but I'm not ever buying any of these blue ISOs from this store. There's just no need for it. As you can see, I have like over 100 on each of these, which is, I think, the case for all of the classes and all of the ISOs. But yeah, that's how I work. I hope that you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. If you did, please like and subscribe. You know the deal. If you have any questions, any criticism, any comments, please let me know in the comments. I'm always happy to help and answer your questions if any pops up. But yeah, see you on the next one. Bye.